Thank you all for your patience. Are we live or is it Memorex? There we go. Call this meeting to order at 6:08 p.m. Welcome to the Board of Education of the Morgan Hill Unified School District meeting, available both in person and on Zoom. We will begin with our flag salute, and Clerk Marquez will be leading us. Over there. Over there. It's in the corner.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We're on item C, introductions of. Thank you, board members and staff. We'll start with Trustee Altman and go around, please.
Good evening, Nancy Altman, trustee, Area 1.
Good evening, welcome Pamela Gardner, trustee, Area 4.
Good evening, Jennifer Marquez, clerk, trustee, Area 5.
Good evening, Sarah Northrop Gaddis, board vice president in Area 3.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. John Horner, trustee, Area 2. I think that's the right number. I don't look at it that often. And the board president.
Good evening, Carmen Garcia, superintendent. I'd like to address our Spanish-speaking community. Miembros de la comunidad de habla hispana, tenemos traducción simultánea. Por favor, hagan clic en el icono del mundo debajo de la pantalla. Gracias por estar con nosotros.
Good evening, Claudia Estrada, executive assistant to the superintendent.
Good evening, happy Friday, Junior. Veronica Andrade, trustee, Area 7.
Welcome. Good evening, Rebecca Munson, trustee, Area 6.
Good evening, buenas noches, Diana Jimenez, assistant superintendent of educational services.
Good evening, Kovac Chang, assistant superintendent of business.
Hello, everyone. I'm Diana Taveras, assistant superintendent of HR.
Thank you very much. Now we're on action D, adoption of the agenda. Do we have action to approve tonight's agenda?
Second.
Thank you, trustees Munson and Andrade. All in, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Seeing none, that passes unanimously. All right. Item E, closed session action report. We have nothing to report from closed session. To item F, recognitions and appreciations. Really happy this evening to recognizing the Sally Science Engineering Initiative. Susan Hines, the leader there, you've come up and introduce your team. And I'll give just one moment, Dr. Garcia, a moment to you and introduce them.
Susan is here with the entire amazing board, and she also brought with her volunteers who helped with the fair. I wanted to share with you that Susan and I have had a wonderful relationship the past 5 years, and she, for many years, led the fair here in South County. She realized that was an equity issue, and she wanted to make sure that students, especially students that are typically disenfranchised or may not have the resources at home to be able to compete in fair, among things. She was very intentional about pivoting away from that and providing science, engineering, the arts, among others, in a very open and equitable and collaborative process. And so this past year, I think we finally got it right, Susan. And I want to thank ESD, I want to thank Director Aguirre Jacinto, I want to thank all of the principals and the teachers at every single one of our school sites who participated this year in the STEAM Fair. And so I won't take your time, you're going to talk about that, but I want to, on behalf of the board and on behalf of the school district, thank you for your years, many, many years of investment in our students. Thank you for the STEAM fairs, and thank you for your very robust community and public engagement. Thank you so much, Susan.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I want to thank the
the Morgan Hill Unified School District for the cooperation and collaboration that we had this year. As Dr. Garcia is saying, this has been going on for quite a while before we got to this point. We were really excited. We had 12 of the campuses there this year, in addition to community members, nonprofit, and individuals doing all hands-on STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math activities from TK, and we had a few toddlers. So if they could walk to it, they could do it with help, up to adult. And we're really looking forward to Explore 27. And I have just one more thing we want to do. Peggy? Sorry. My reminder from Peggy before she says her thing. So I do want to thank all the volunteers that we had, and the booth partners, and the funders, our grantors, make it possible, CEW, that provided the reimbursement fund that makes our fare free, and the Morgan Hill Community Foundation, which is our fiscal sponsor, so we are a 501c3. I'm getting there. We can do this as everything. And we're also a grantee of them to, again, make sure this is a free event. And certainly the Kiwanis, who did our volunteer sign up, provided volunteers, fed our volunteers, and did half a dozen other things. So we have a wonderful team with everyone pretty much in the room, and we're very happy to be able to get to this point with the Morgan Hill Unified School District and to be able to show the community all the things that public schools can do. Our first few fairs, it was mainly prides that were coming up, but this year was a big change, and we think this is our best fair ever, and we want to continue that. Okay, and now Peggy has something to say.
Hi, I'm Peggy Martin, and I am the treasurer for South Valley Science and Engineering Initiative, but I'm also the co-CFO for the Morgan Hill Community Foundation. And as Susan mentioned, they are a partner of the Morgan Hill Community Foundation, South Valley Science and Engineering Initiative. And so it's great to have so many community team members here, AAW, Kiwanis, Morgan Hill Community Foundation, South Valley Science Engineering Initiative, and most importantly, the Morgan Hill Unified School District. And Susan and I and the team talked about what would we like to do the Morgan Hill Unified School District. So we came up with the fact that we are donating $250 to the Morgan Hill Unified School District Education Foundation to continue to pursue educational endeavors for all students within Morgan Hill. It will some. I don't know who I should deliver the check to. I would be happy to do that.
Now, the Education Foundation. One of our Education Foundation board members, Sarah Northrop Gaddis, will be delighted to accept the check. Anyone else? Okay. Did you want to introduce the rest of your team who came along? Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, so I'm Susan Hines, the director of the South Valley Science and Engineering Initiative. This is Suda Rahman. So she was in charge of facilities and help with registration. Peggy Martin, you met, she's our treasurer. Phil Hines. So I'm the interrupter. Yeah,
it's a 2-for-1 deal in the Hines family?
It is. It's a 2-for-1, yes. And Marlon Martinez, and she is our social media person.
And I see a few more people out there that say Explore STEAM Fair on shirts.
They do, yeah. So Adam,
I'm talking to you, Kennedys. Yeah. There we go.
And, so
you wore third. You have to walk up.
So Chris and Craig Kennedy are representing Kiwanis, who again helped us immeasurably this year, last year, the year before, and when we were doing the traditional science fair. And we have Harpreet Kapoor, and she's representing AUW. And Mario, the Morgan Hill Community Foundation. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, I've had the privilege at times of walking this walk with you. Lately, not as because I've been busy with other things, but really appreciate, as Dr. Garcia, everything you did from the days when we were doing a science fair that Oakwood was the major participant, and you know, when you came on the scene, you're like, no, this is not right. This is not what we need to be doing for our community. And you work for it. Is it a decade now or more? It feels like a long time.
More.
Hey, well, who's counting? Anyhow, so maybe come up, get all your team up here. We'll have a certificate and some photos. Feel sobriety over there. Okay, that's wonderful. We're so fortunate to have so much of the community supporting our students and schools every day, and I'm glad we're taking them at every board meeting to recognize some of them. Okay, we'll move on to F2, San Martin school site presentation. Oh, okay. Principal Ross will lead us off.
Yes. Good evening, Superintendent Garcia, President, Members Board, Kevin. I'm the Principal of San Martin. Thank you for having me here, Guillermo Ramos. I'd like to introduce the team that is joining me today in this presentation. I have Assistant Principal Veronica Altamirano and Pam Lamke, one of our great parents, does a wonderful job representing the community. So we are excited of our unique dual immersion multicultural program, 9010. So thank you for allowing this space for us to briefly talk to you about what's happening at San Martin. Next slide. In the next few slides, you're going to learn a little bit about our stars, the students. This slide represents our enrollment, 563 students. As you can see, it is broken down by grade levels. It also includes our 3-district extensive need program. I'd like to draw your attention to the 5th grade at the end of this year, because a group of those students will be leaving us to middle school as they do not participate in the DMID program. That means next year we'll almost be at 100% dual immersion. Next slide. We have a significant number of students classified as socioeconomically disadvantaged and English learners. along with the strong group of McKinney-Vento immigrant student population. These numbers here guide us on how we allocate our interventions, our targeted supports, and our family outreach. Next slide. Our student population reflects a rich and vibrant community full of diversity, which is a great strength of ours. Our predominant ethnic group is our Hispanics, almost at 80%, followed by whites at 12%. So this affirms the reason why having a dual immersion program at San Martin is a great idea. Next slide. We have an amazing and dedicated staff. They're knowledgeable and highly skilled. And as you can see in the graph, we have high levels of advanced degrees. Not shown in this graph, we have 2 paras with bachelor's degrees. So we hope in the near future, they will want to be teachers. What impresses me the most about our staff is the diversity. Excuse me. Many have origins in many countries, predominantly in from Latin America. And that is an amazing feature because I really believe that enhances our multicultural program.
Good evening. Here you see one of our CIPSA goals that targets the increase in our English learners and students with disabilities on our state test. Depicted here on the slide is our current data from last spring. As you can see, about 26% of our students met or exceeded standards in English language arts, and 19% met or exceeded standards in math. Our hope is that we increase this specifically for our English learners and students with disabilities. Next slide, please. Here we have our district benchmark test, iReady, window 1 and window 2 in reading. You could see from window 1 to window 2, our students who were performing far below grade level has decreased, and our students at or above grade level has increased. Again, this is towards our goal in increasing our student achievement. Next slide, please. Here we have our math, same as in reading, window 1 and window 2. You could see in the buff graph in window 1, our large number of students who were performing far below grade level that has decreased, and our students at or above grade level has increased. Next slide. We believe that our students, in order for our students to perform, they must be in an inclusive and safe environment. We accomplish this through our focus on our positive behavior interventions of PBIS. That's our matrix there that you see. In order to meet the needs of our English learners and students with disabilities, we need to plan intentionally. Our amazing teachers do this work through their weekly professional learning teams, where they look through data, incorporate their new learnings from professional development, and plan instruction. It is our hope that through this work, we will increase our student achievement.
Excuse me. Goal 2 draws our effort towards partnering with our parents and community. We believe that through this side-by-side approach, our students will benefit greatly, and that collaboration with parents will obviously create that capacity so that whatever happens at school continues at home, and it also builds transparency. Next slide. This slide here illustrates the number of workshops. The light blue bars indicate the number of workshops that have been already offered in that particular grade range. And the dark blue illustrates what's going to be offered in the next few months. Next slide. Some of the actions that we are doing to achieve this goal started at the end of the last school year and continued through the first semester when our progressive partners offered a series of workshops around the topic of friendships across differences. Not only was this offered to our student population, but also for our parents. In the next few months, to continue that capacity with parents, we will be offering workshops on how parents can work at home with their students in reading and in math. They will also learn how to understand the I-Ready reports and how to use those user results when they're at home. And also, it's important that they learn how to navigate areas so that they can stay informed and involved. Next slide. Our professional learning teams provides our teachers with the venue where they have voice and choice on how they support student learning. We have weekly PLTs where our teachers analyze data, unpack standards, and create action plans. Those action plans usually result in identifying interventions for students that are struggling, and then enrichment opportunities for students who are meeting and doing well in their academics. This collective work that they do, excuse me. So this work that is collective, they essentially learn about learning, identify high impact strategies, and ensure strong instruction design for our DMIN program. Next slide. Our climate and culture team and our Tier 2 committee meet monthly, of course separately, and they analyze data on attendance, behavior, and academics. And we strive to create a safe learning environment in order to increase learning opportunities for all. We provide multiple activities and events to motivate students and to engage them academically. We celebrate successes through our awards assemblies. We offer positive lunchtime experiences and support students through our social emotional program, Second Step.
Good evening. I'm going to speak to some of the programming outside of the school day. So as a middle school that teaches Spanish, that is the elective that our students take in the middle school. And so we've been leveraging our community school grant to find opportunities for students for enrichment outside of the school day. You can see the selection of activities and sports that we're offering. I'll just highlight a few. I have a sixth grader who participated last semester in a chess club and this semester in an engineering club. And after the break, we're looking forward to launching a mariachi program. Next slide, please. I also wanted to speak to parent engagement. So there's a number of ways in which parents are part of our community. I personally sit on the school site council and the climate and culture team, and we have a really vibrant and busy home and school club. They put on a lot of cultural events during the school day and after school for families, as well as some traditions like Santa's breakfast. In all of the work that we do as parents, our goal is to support our teachers and staff so that they can do great work for our students. But there are also a lot of opportunities for parent leadership and ways to continue to bring the community into the school. This was personally one of the reasons why I selected San Martin Gwen for my family, and we've been really proud of the choice that we've made.
All right, thank you. And I end here by saying we take pride in what we do at San Martin. San Martin is already an amazing place, and we are committed to taking the school and our programs to the next level. And we will do that with our collective work with our district office staff, our external consultants, our parents, and our teachers. So yeah, I think I covered everyone. And so now, Veronica will answer all your questions.
An experienced principal
Yes.
speaking there. Colleagues, any questions or comments? Trustee Altman, please.
Thank you. I'm looking at your MAP scores, and they're really impressive for the growth. But I'm also a bit of a number nerd, and I'm kind of curious, two things. One, the second test had a whole bunch more kids taking it. Do you know why that was? That the numbers increased so dramatically?
Can you put that slide?
I can speak to it. Our first window, our kinder students take the test, and so there's challenges in that. And so I think the number difference discrepancy is mainly our kinder kiddos. Also, our extensive needs students sometimes struggle with taking the assessment.
Well, okay, while the kinders are doing that too, that's impressive. And so this includes all students, not including the students in the self-contained?
Yes, so it's K through 8th grade.
Awesome, great, yeah, they're impressive, thank you.
Yes, please, Trustee Andrade.
Okay, a couple questions. Which courses are taught fully in Spanish, and which ones are taught in English at the school?
Oh, geez, I would need a graph to show you that.
Does it vary by grade
Yeah, because
level?
they vary. We start with 90% Spanish in the early grades, and then it decreases by 10% until it hits fourth grade, where it's 50-50.
And they take the test in third grade, correct? The CA, okay. And then the CASP. And so then my next question is there an assessment that is state approved, I guess, for dual immersion programs that measure the language, right? Because so in my mind, I'm thinking if a student is really reading proficient at kinder, first, second, and third in Spanish, and there's, but when they read in English, those skills don't necessarily translate over the reading comprehension, the literary analysis. Is there a test or an assessment that measures that to show that these students do in fact know how to do those things? It's just in a different language.
There is the California Spanish Assessment. Yeah, so we do take it, and we will have some results for that in the next school year.
Ask a clarifying question then about your iReady, and then we'll go. Are these taken in English, or the math and language in English, or in Spanish, or in both? I mean, we're teaching in both, but how are these particular assessments that we're looking at administered?
So these are in English, what you're seeing on the screen. iReady does not have these nice graphs for the Spanish assessment. So there is a Spanish component assessment that students take. It just doesn't display the data nicely like this does. So this is in English.
So the students are learning in two languages. These particular assessments are only in English, even if they're about math or language. Okay, that's helpful to understand. Thank you.
But our district does administer the iReady reading in Spanish as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next time you come to us, be interesting to see that data as well. It'll be a while. 13 sites, it's a while till your turn comes back around. Trustee Marquez or Clerk Marquez?
Just a curiosity question. On the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, on the total enrollment, it's dropped from the other grades. Why is that?
I was part of the budget committee that helped support the district in making the budget decisions last year. And so one of the decisions was to move the English-only middle school program out of San Martin Gwen so we could focus just on dual immersion. So that's the change in enrollment there.
Okay.
And that's why the 5th grade is larger, because that grade is still phasing out.
Okay. So those that are going into the middle school are going into the Britton or the Martin Murphy? Okay, understood. Thank you.
And I think you said the 5th grade that you displayed is the only one that still has some English-only students, and that's why that number you won't see them show up in this 6th grade. They'll show up likely at one of the other schools.
Yeah, we had 3 classes in 5th grade. 2 will remain with us through middle school, and then 1 will go to Britain.
Yeah, so just historically, this is kind of when the Dual Immersion Academy was established there, which is over a decade ago now, it was both dual immersion and an English only operating side by side. And over the last several years, the English only was too small to be effective and efficient, so has been being phased out, and we're seeing the tail end of that process. Other questions or comments?
Thank you.
Oh, yes, please, Trustee Gardner.
There we go. Mic's on. So this may not be something that you can answer, but I am curious with the 90-10 versus, so this has been in place for over a decade. When did Piewosco do the 50-50, and how are we able to make the comparison, like which might be more effective, 50-50 or 90-10? So that's just something I
I know it's a very, very interesting question. And Dr. Garcia, who would you like to have address that? I think there have been a few PhD theses written comparing and contrasting the two, and we're living it out, but please.
There are two schools of thought with respect to which model is better. There are those that believe that the 90-10 model is better because it facilitates Spanish language acquisition for those who do not speak Spanish because they are essentially fully immersed. The other school of thought is that our students' brains are so malleable that they're able to handle two languages at once. And so when the planning group met to discuss which model Walsh would follow, they decided to follow the 50-50 model. I am offering a biased answer because my preferred model is 50-50. But I also know the value of 90-10. Because ultimately in fourth grade is when you at San Martin Guen with the 90-10 model, it reaches parity at 50-50. It just takes a little bit longer, whereas at Walsh it's both at the same time. So both are great. That would be my professional answer, with a slight bias toward 50, but both are great.
I would imagine it'll take us several years to try and compare and contrast our results. It's an interesting question that
I was just going to add, and so my model, because we've launched DLIs in other districts, is the 90-10 model because there's a different structure, so you can see that, right? I was going to say to Dr. Garcia's point, it's kind of like 50-50, right? Because the research supports both the neuroplasticity of students to learn, right? And one is the population of students that you serve, because there is a different way of learning how to read in Spanish than it is when we do in English. So I'll give you an example. In English, we teach the students the letters and the sounds of the letters, and in Spanish, we don't. We start by learning the syllables because that is the way that you build phonemic awareness, right? So there's a different model. But both of the programs have pretty much the same research backing them up, saying that by the time you are in fourth grade, it is a 50-50 model. It's just depending on how the acceleration that you want in Spanish language or whatever world language that you're doing, you do a language immersion program.
Both are great.
Both are great.
But a very salient question and a very good time to bring it up. Anything else you had on this one?
No, I mean, I could do follow-up, but, questions, but thank you.
Okay, very good. Anyone else? Seeing and hearing none, I'll just add my thank you and well done.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add and thank you, the three of you, for your leadership on campus. Guillermo, I know that you're new to us, but you also have a lot of experience with dual immersion settings, having been a principal at an elementary school that was a dual immersion and a middle school more recently with dual immersion. So thank you for your depth and breadth of experience and expertise. And thank you for so beautifully onboarding Veronica. Veronica is a new assistant principal, incredibly well-versed with dual immersion as well. So we're very lucky to have two experts in dual immersion at San Martin Guen. Thank you for welcoming the team, and thank you for working so closely with our parents, who are incredibly impressive when it comes to parent engagement. I love all of our schools. There is absolutely something special about San Martin Guen every time I set foot onto campus. And I also know that the three of you collectively believe in providing students with more. And you mentioned earlier about the electives in the middle school and how you were able to try to fill in the gap with an after-school setting. I also wanted to publicly thank Guillermo, who is going to be working with us so that we can embed electives, additional electives within the middle school experience. And so we'll be working so that in addition to the after-school opportunities, that students are offered various electives from which to choose from. So thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of San Martin Guen, and thank you for loving our students.
Thank you very much. Concludes that item. Okay, we'll open public comment on this item if you have 3 minutes.
I don't need 3 minutes.
Well, you have no more than 3 minutes. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Kathy Chavez Napoli, and we will be holding our 7th annual Youth Mariachi concert, and we haven't had a mariachi group here at Morgan Hill Unified. So I invite you to participate. I know Patrick is here from Jackson, and we encourage youth mariachi, and we just haven't been able to invite them. So I hope on September 19th at Britain that both schools participate.
If I may add with respect to that, Principal Ramos is working with a partner, and they're starting mariachi after school with the ultimate goal of bringing mariachi within the day.
Okay, and in the future, please give us a little speaker card. Just so I don't want to get in trouble with the boss here. All right, we'll close that item then, move on. We have 3 different sets of minutes to approve. Each of these is specific to the minutes of a particular board meeting. I don't believe anyone has, sent in a correction to staff, that's all. Okay, so yeah, I'll just remind my colleagues, the request is if you have a correction, send it in ahead of time so we can be prepared.
Sorry.
But that's okay. But so we're first on the January 15th minutes. Is that the one you have a question
No,
about?
December 18th.
Okay, so
It's
on-
not a correction, just an addition.
for January 15th, do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Trustee Andrade. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Munson. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Seeing none, that passes unanimously. Okay. We're on item G2. I understand Trustee Munson has a question or request regarding the minutes of December 18th.
Just an addition. I know that when I mentioned the Las Paseos and Elementary Martin Murphy start times, Trustee Marquez had seconded in that and just had her 2 cents into there. So I just wanted to make sure that her comment was reflected in there.
Was that under future agenda items?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, under new business and future agenda items, I apologize.
Okay, so as I recall, there was just a conversation about considering the start times at those sites. Okay, so would you like to make a motion to approve the minutes with that addition?
Yes, so moved. with
Okay,
that
do we have a
addition.
second?
Second.
I think that was Trustee Altman, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? All right, that passes with that one addition. Moving on to G3, these are for the board retreat of February 2nd, which was all a closed session, so pretty simple minutes. Thank you, Trustee Munson, to move approval of those minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Andrade. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you all very much. We're now to item H, public comment. We have some requests for public comment. Start with Shannon Costanza. I see 2 requests, one general, which I assume is not agendized items, and then another business services item. Yeah, so I don't know if you'd like to speak to both now, or like to speak to one now and then come back later.
Sure.
Dealer's choice.
I can do both now. That's fine, yeah.
Okay, please proceed.
Okay. I am not sure.
And make sure your microphone is on so the people at home can hear you.
And I'm short, but it's at the right height, I think. Yeah?
And you,
Am I
yeah,
good?
just get
Hello?
be a rock star. There you go. Get your rock star voice on. Okay.
Okay. I am not sure if the board is aware, but Barrett Elementary paid for its own marquee last school year at a cost of just over $19,000. So this was a major hit to our home and school club budget. And the marquee was delivered to the school site in November of 2025. And it's still sitting in a classroom, taking up a lot of space, as you might imagine. So there were some hurdles getting it installed. Ricky is working on it, but I am hoping bringing this to your attention can get this installed sooner rather than later. So we've been waiting over a year. And the reason for purchasing the new marquee, just so you know, we're not wasting $19,000, is because the old marquee was a 10 key, like old school cell phones, where you had to press number 1 to get C, and you had to stand directly in front of the marquee. So if it's pouring rain or if it's 100 degrees, doesn't matter. You got to stand in front of it and put, C's Candy fundraiser 26, and it takes a while. So And then the colors started dying, which have been fixed, but we used to raise about $1,000 a year just putting birthdays on the sign. And so that has deteriorated because now some of the colors don't work. So the new marquee would allow the school staff and parent volunteers to add to the sign remotely. And I did hear that the district paid for some of the other school sites' new marquees. So I'm not sure if it's possible for the Barrett Home and School Club to retrieve any of the funds that we already paid, but it would be great if we could just get it installed and out of the classroom. So that's one thing. And then I don't know if you start my
You just
time
go
over.
ahead.
Just
yeah.
go ahead.
We'll,
Okay.
we'll restart the timer. Just make this efficient for everyone. So you don't have to come back up in 2 items.
So I am currently on the board at 2 schools, and over the years, I've noticed that the home and school clubs at various school sites bring in vastly different amounts of proceeds. Some school sites are bringing in more in one fundraiser than another site brings in a whole school year. It's mainly because of the economic demographics at each school site. There is curriculum and extra school staff that some school sites are receiving due to the funds raised at their school sites' home and school club fundraisers. While I am happy for those that can raise large sums of money, I'm trying to think of ways that schools like Barrett can receive a more equitable share. More affluent families seem to be transferring out of many of the elementary sites into 3 or so other elementary sites, as well as transferring to private schools. It seems this has a lot to do with the ratings that are seen with real estate listings. So I don't know if there's any way to promote our schools based on, like what's on the SIPSA, based on year-over-year improvement, because I think our ratings would be much higher. And then alternatively, I don't know if we can require in-person tours of the assigned school as a prerequisite for the transfers. Sorry. Okay. Another idea is that the district focuses on a different school site every couple of weeks on social media. The school sites can give the same awesome presentations that they give at the district roundtable meetings, with pictures and short videos, and then lists of upcoming events. I heard about, one of the high schools doing a play coming up, so it would be cool if we could, just as a community, also know what's going on at each of the school sites so that we could also maybe participate. All of the schools always sound amazing from their presentations, so I realize this isn't a one-size-fits-all solution, and I am guilty of transferring next year from Sobrato to Live Oak for Robotics Club and the awesome CET courses, and of course, Dr. Zimmer. I think all the schools in our district have some great qualities, and I'm happy to discuss further if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments and your efforts. I see a lot of notes being taken. These items aren't on the agenda, so we can't discuss it, but I can say thank you for the work you're doing at the schools and for sharing with us.
We'll follow up with you. Thank you.
Okay, now I see do we have our Zoom, Juliet Pasquale available? This is for, it says general, which I assume is the public non-agendized items. Okay, here we have you. Almost have you. There you go. All right. You'll need to unmute yourself and then we can go. Looks like you're still muted. We're working on it. Your timer hasn't started. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
There we
Thank
go.
you so much. I wasn't able to unmute myself.
Oh, now we can't hear her.
Hello.
Hold on one second. Technology is wonderful until it's not.
Hello. Hello.
Can you do the laptop microphone thing? It should be working now?
Julia, can you try speaking?
You just speak a few words? Whoa, 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 whoa. That goes.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay. Please, can you hear us? Please go ahead and get started. We should be able to hear you.
Hello. Hello.
We got you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Julia. Go ahead and speak.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. I will keep it brief, but thank you, board and Superintendent Garcia. I am from Silicon Valley Clean Energy, and that is our local nonprofit electricity provider for 13 towns and cities here in Santa Clara County, including unincorporated areas and Morgan Hill. I am really here to promote two different programs. So we have an upcoming youth scholarship program, as well as an upcoming grant opportunity for school facilities. And in case the audio is still tricky, I can send some follow-up information to whoever would be best for contact. But just as a brief overview, we have a scholarship opening up from 3rd grade to 12th grade to submit clean energy themed art. Students can win from $250 to over $1,000 for different art submissions according to different themes. And we're very excited to have that.
Thank you very much. Yes, please do follow up with an email to Dr. Garcia. I'm very familiar with Silicon Valley Clean Energy. Really appreciate how you do the work you do and all of your efforts to support community. And thank you for paying attention to our schools. Greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll come in person next time.
Now it's working perfectly. Well done.
Yeah.
We had to get the right electrons from you, not those other dirty ones. Okay.
Well, thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Moving on in public comment, we have Mr. Armando Benavides here in the room.
Good evening, council members. So today I want to talk.
Wrong meeting. We're not the council.
Oh, that's right. Darn, trustees. I go everywhere. So I want to talk about our current immigration issues affecting our students and our families. I think that our immigration students and their families and the students are really carrying the heavy emotional burdens right now. They may be invisible in our classrooms. The concern for me is stability, safety, separation, and belonging feelings that maybe can significantly impact their education and their well-being. And now more than ever, I think it is essential that our students, our parents, and you as leaders lead with empathy for our students and our families, and we continue to offer responsive mental health support, not only to our students, but also to our families, their families, our mental health Morgan Hill families. I think we should continue to foster safe, welcoming environments, strengthening our school-family partnerships, and connecting families to trusted community resources. We need to help build resilience across the entire household for all our students. And when students and families feel supported, valued, and protected, they are better able to navigate challenges and thrive better. And our students and our teachers are are going to be able to do better. And I know that it's been really a hard year for all our families and students. And I think our community has done really well, but I think we need to continue to keep an eye on that and understand that that those are invisible signs for our families that we may not see them, but they're feeling it. So I hope we continue to work with them and foster a good sense of welcoming and protecting our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Benavides. I believe that concludes this item. Okay. Moving through our communication items. Unfortunately, our student board members are busy being students. It's getting to be that time of year. So we don't have a student board member report, but we do have item I2, the superintendent report.
Thank you very much, President Horner. As is customary, my update is our events, among others, since our last board meeting. I have a lot, so I'll zoom through pretty quickly. But my most favorite thing to highlight is our Students in Action. So kudos to Britton Middle School. You see that on the left-hand side. The students are sharing, 8th graders are sharing their poetry. It's called the Slam Poetry. So the 8th grade students participated in this. They had the option to read their poem out loud or share it privately or via video, etc. So kudos to the students. Their poems were incredible and powerful and empowering. And at the bottom are you see the 50-50 model at Walsh. And it's incredible. It's incredible. Shannon mentions earlier, how do we open up our campus so that our community and our families come and see our students in action? It's beautiful to see the TK and the kinder students, fully bilingual. It's just incredible. So kudos to the Walsh team. And on the right-hand side are pictures from Murphy and Los Paseos, equally doing fantastic work. In addition to my site visits, I also attend school visits with our school board. And so we see our parents and our students and our faculty in action. This is Murphy and Los Paseos. This is the County Schools Collaborative is a brand new initiative, and this is in partnership with the County of Santa Clara in conjunction with the County Office of Ed, Santa Clara County Office of Ed, and they've identified about 5 districts in our community with whom they would like to provide additional support and services. So we had the inaugural meeting. Director Swift attended with me. And essentially is, how do we focus on what the County of Santa Clara provides in terms of wraparound support, and what can they do additionally? What should they do less of? What should they do more of? So this is an inaugural meeting, and we're hoping to meet on a quarterly basis. So I hope to bring more information the next time we meet with them. I also, in addition to some of the trustees who also attended Education Day with Leadership Morgan Hill, we had an opportunity to showcase our school district. Participants in Leadership Morgan Hill also visited all of our school sites. So thank you to our teachers and our principals for leading and welcoming the leaders in our community during the visits. And the day concluded with our trustee conversations with participants in Leadership Morgan Hill. Rock the Mock was initiated, if you did not know, by President Horner in his previous role as the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. And this brainchild really focused on, wouldn't it be great to invest in our youth to better prepare them for the world of work, the interviews, et cetera. And so Rock the Mock was born 12 years ago. 14 years ago. So thank you to, I know there are other members in our audience who are part of the Rock the Mock. So thank you for helping our students with practicing a mock interview. Thank you for modeling for our students how to dress for the interview. Thank you for other members in our community who help our students with their resume building. So we're going strong in Morgan Hill with Rock the Mock. Sobrato and Live Oak will be forthcoming. We highlighted Susan and with the Explore STEAM Fair. So again, kudos to our teachers and our principals and everybody who worked together to make this an incredible success. It was fantastic. And I don't know if you heard me tell Susan at the end, let's do it bigger and better next year. Sorry, guys. But yeah, it was quite impressive. So thank you all so much. Boys and Girls Club held their Youth of the Year gala. Morgan Hill Unified, our students were very present at the gala. Our very own Vanessa was a finalist. She was one of 3 finalists for the Youth of the Year. You'll remember last year, Alina won, graduate of Live Oak High School. She won $10,000. Vanessa was a finalist again this year, and I have said this publicly and I will say it again, she was robbed. Vanessa was incredible. Incredible. And so somebody else won. He was great too, but Vanessa, who attended the gala, who stepped forward and gave of his or her, cannot disclose the gender, his or her money, $10,000 for each of the 2 other finalists. So all 3 received $10,000. That was wonderful. But the beauty is that Vanessa can compete again next year, so I'm pretty sure she's going to win next year. Okay. Also attended the Access Superintendent Symposium. This is a yearly conference for superintendents across the state. There were about 650 of us, really where we learn the most up-to-date information with respect to law and education, listen from amazing speakers. I want to highlight Carl Cohn. He is the top left. He's a former superintendent in Long Beach Unified, former superintendent in San Diego Unified, was the inaugural leader of the California Collaborative for Educational Excellence. He was on the state board. He is quite fantastic, and he is my mentor. And I have a little Carl Cohn on my shoulder that says, what would Carl do? Carl is incredible. And so he was one of the speakers at this event. So it was nice to see Carl. Also, this week, we had the inaugural Career and Technical Ed Tour. We have 33 Career and Technical Ed pathways in our school district. And I want to piggyback on what Shannon said, our parent, who said, there's so many amazing things happening in our schools. How do we get it out? So that was the idea. Trustee Andrade and Trustee Horner and I, we were kicking around the idea, how do we get this word out? And so we worked very closely with both principals and all of the career and technical ed teachers at both high schools. And we did an open invitation to community members. We invited Rotarians, we invited the Kiwanians, we invited Chamber of Commerce, we invited the city council members, city staff, we invited Gavilan, we invited other trustees in the county. So we had about between 22 and 25 participants. And so that happened this week. Thank you to Maida, our fantastic bus driver, who transported all of the participants. And so most of them said, this takes me back to when I was in high school, getting on the bus. So it was wonderful. It was our students, seeing our students in learning by doing, was very inspiring for many of the participants. And slowly but surely, we're getting the word out. And we're going to do this again every year. So thank you to all of our career and technical ed teachers and our students. We had our parent district roundtable meeting. This is something that we have on a quarterly basis. We have 2 meetings because we understand parents work, and so we offer it in the evenings, and we also offer it in the mornings for those that. So it was very well attended and wonderful. So thank you to our parents for sharing the great things that are happening on their campus. Continuing my coffee chats every month. This time we went to South San Jose. So we had a wonderful conversation. Everyone is welcome every month. I either do it in San Martin or Morgan Hill or in South San Jose. Zero agenda other than let's talk. World Read Aloud Day, 5th year reading to students at Charter School Morgan Hill. And so this time I read to all 5th graders on that campus. A plug for those of you in the community and members here present, we will have our own Read Across America event. So we're sharing that information out widely. Please come. If you haven't done it, you're going to love it. Read to our students. We have the book for you. It's lovely. So make sure to sign up for that. Every month, we provide an update to the Chamber of Commerce. So I was able to do that. This also was new, that District Attorney Rosen reached out to leaders in South County. He wanted to have a listening session with members in South County. The topics really ranged. How can the DA continue to partner with South County to improve our communities? So that was wonderful. And then this morning, President Horner and I attended the groundbreaking of the Children's Advocacy Center. It's going to take about 6 months to fully open. It'll be at the former DePaul What's the current name of it's the
Valley Medical
Valley
Center,
Medical Center, but formerly DePaul of Cochrane. So so San Jose already has a children's advocacy center. If I can just provide just an overview of what it is. When children are assaulted sexually, they are handled with the utmost care and respect and support, and typically go to the Children's Advocacy Center in San Jose. That resource was missing in South County because the students who, the children, the minors who unfortunately face that, they're traveling to San Jose can be daunting. So by bringing that resource to South County, it'll be housed here in Morgan Hill, but it'll service San Martin, Gilroy, and Morgan Hill. So thank you to Supervisor Arenas who championed this effort. And thank you for the County of Santa Clara for supporting that effort. And so today was the groundbreaking, and we all were able to, and District Attorney Rosen was present, our sheriff was present. So we look forward to that. And lastly, big kudos to our school counselors. They were celebrated today. School Counseling Week was last week, but they were celebrated today by Principal Alvarez, who oversees the counselors district-wide. But we celebrate them every day. So I wanted to take a moment and have you join me in thanking our school counselors for their transformative efforts toward improving the conditions for our students' success. So thank you, school counselors. That concludes my report, and I hope everyone enjoys their February break.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. And there's no other staff reports, correct? Okay, thank you. Now we will move on to our employee group reports. The Morgan Hill Classified Employees Association, Ms. Garcia is going to report. Good to see you. Ms. Garcia and friends. It's a new all-girl rock band.
Yes, it is. Yes, here it is. Good evening to everybody. My name is Elisa Garcia. I'm the new president.
Just get a little closer to the mic, just thank you.
I am the
That's
new
helpful.
president for MESIA. With me, I have my wonderful part of my group that work together with me. I'm going to give them the opportunity to present themselves. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Luz Andrade. I'm the secretary for MHCEA and a Morgan Hill Unified School District employee for 30 years. Retiring this year.
My name's Kim Dean, and
She's
I'm
gonna join you.
the vice president of MHCEA, and I've been with the district for 27 years. And I'm Live Oak.
This is part of my wonderful group that works with us. I just want to give a report to say that thank you to the HR department and Diana Torres for helping us achieve our contract finally. I know that last month I wasn't able to attend the board meeting. I just want to thank each one of them. Also, just to report to you guys, this year we're re-electing the full staff of MESIA board, MESIA, and our reps for each site. We're looking forward for that. That will occur at the end of May, and they will take office at the end of June. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Been a long day for y'all. Okay, now for the Morgan Hill Federation of Teachers, Federation President Yen.
Gotta clear my throat, sorry. Good evening, board trustees, executive cabinet, and community members. My name is QA Nguyen, and I am honored to be the elected president of the Morgan Hill Federation of Teachers. Last board meeting, you heard from 4 of our site representatives about Article 15 class size. At this meeting, you will hear from our non-site specific representative, Carol Sheets, about Article 12, hours of employment. So Carol, you have the floor.
Good evening. My name is Carol Sheets, and I am a new teacher support provider. I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of the non-site specific MHFT members whom I represent, as well as on behalf of Renee Davila's 5th grade teacher at Nordstrom Elementary and the MHFT members she represents. Renee is unable to be here tonight, so we have combined our presentations. This evening's topic is Article 12, hours of employment. One commonality regarding hours of employment that impacts both the non-site specific support providers, district level TOSAs, nurses, behavior analysts, adaptive PE teacher, and other traveling educators whom I represent, as well as the general ed teachers, inclusion teachers, and case managers, and specials teachers at Nordstrom, whom Renee represents, is the Keenan Safe Schools mandated trainings. We all have to dedicate an entire full day to the district for these and receive no time or pay for doing so. We have to work this into our already packed schedules when our focus should be setting up our schedules in classrooms, meeting the adults and students we will be supporting throughout the year, and engaging in the numerous other professional development sessions that we're responsible for at the start of each year. While we understand the importance of them, we also know educators throughout the district deserve time during our workday to complete them or compensation for having to use our personal time to do so. These mandated trainings at the start of the school year during personal time for no compensation is just the beginning. It's impossible for me to fully convey in just a few minutes the number of hours it takes to do our jobs, but I will attempt to shed some light on the things we are expected to do that don't fall into the hours we're actually paid for. Non-site specific educators play so many vital roles through our avenues of support they provide the teachers and students in our district. You have support providers who assist our beginning teachers in becoming effective educators. You have teachers on special assignments who assist with the implementation of effective instructional practices and technologies. And you have specialized educators who provide medical, behavioral, and adaptive supports to our students in need of those. And guess when the classroom teachers who desire our assistance want to meet? Outside of contracted hours, which means outside of their hours, which means outside of our hours as well. It's not possible for us to be as effective, collaborative, and impactful as possible without working outside of the regular workday. And I can guarantee that this time and effort is not included in the paychecks we currently receive. And elementary classroom educators do far more than teach. The approximately 6 hours of instruction they provide each day alone requires significant preparation, and this does not all get accomplished in the allotted 45 minutes of prep time they are provided 3 days a week. There is the preparation of instructional materials, the grading of completed assignments, and all the other tasks that a classroom teacher is responsible for. They communicate with numerous colleagues regarding various topics. They meet with their administrator to get an update on a student. The occupational therapist needs to discuss someone on their caseload. The yard supervisor comes by to report a recess issue, and so on and so forth. They communicate with families through emails, parent square messages, classroom newsletters. They enter data into numerous platforms beyond SST, EL Achieve, Aries Gradebook, progress report templates, intervention tracking databases, and so many more. They complete required preparation videos and trainings for instruction they are later required to provide to their students, such as Be Seen, Be Heard, CASP testing, and LPAC testing. They plan and carry out field trips. They organize special events such as Living History Days, holiday activities like tomorrow's Valentine's Day events, and so many others. They prepare presentations and classrooms for back to school night and open house. They stuff Friday folders. They complete documentation and prepare data for 504 and IEP meetings. They prepare work ahead of time and grade work upon return for students leaving on independent study. They do subplans to prepare for an upcoming district-required all-day training or a family emergency that just occurred. And then there are report cards. As a fifth grade teacher, Renee has 84 separate standards-based entries to complete on a report card. She teaches 32 students. That is 2,688 individual grading entries. On top of that, she has to add in her personalized comments for each student. There's a 2-week report card window to get all of this done, and that's just for one reporting period. That happens 3 times a year. None of this work is optional. All of this work is essential, and there are just 2 hours and 15 minutes of dedicated weekly prep time provided to get it all. There's a meeting that gets scheduled during it, or a student going home early, needing closure to the day. These other tasks don't disappear, but rather move to unpaid time of one's personal morning, evening, or weekend. Article 12 addresses hours of work, but the reality is that the work itself has expanded far beyond the time allotted to do it. We're not asking to work less. We're asking for our work to be acknowledged, respected, and realistically supported. Thank you for listening and for considering the very real impact of unpaid labor on the educators who serve your students every day.
Thank you, Carol. To expand on what you just heard, I want to stress that our educators are constantly going above and beyond their contractual hours in order to provide their students with learning environments that are safe and engaging spaces to grow and thrive. While the elementary educators start their contractual days as early as 7:40 a.m., high school teachers finish the latest at 3:45 p.m., drive through our school parking lots to see the numerous educator cars there either early in the morning or later in the evening. The fact is, education is not a 9-to-5 job. An educator is not simply who teaches reading, writing, addition, and subtraction. An educator is not simply someone who stands in front of a room and lectures. An educator is a word with plurality. Educators are caretakers, motivators, coaches, advisors, tutors, confidence and community builders, and so much more. The multitude of tasks they are expected to complete, of which Carol was able to give you a glimpse at, isn't possible to accomplish in the regular workday. The classrooms and schools of our district wouldn't be what they are if our educators were just on contractual time and not spending their personal hours and money to supplement what is provided to them. For example, elementary teachers spend an absurd number of non-contractual hours completing report cards each trimester. As Carol just shared, our 5th grade educators are responsible for 84 separate standards-based selections per report card. They can have 32 students in their classes, which amounts to 2,688 selections in a trimester, which would lead to an annual total of 8,064 report card selections. And this is not unique to 5th grade. All of our elementary educators have similar report card requirements. And don't forget, the numbers provided above are just for the standards-based selections. This does not include the personalized comments they are required to make for each student each trimester. And remember, as Carol stated, they only have a 2-week window to get this all done, and none of their other responsibilities are put on hold in order for them to shift their focus to this. Elementary report cards take hours to complete and overwhelmingly are done during the educator's own personal time for absolutely no additional compensation. Another example, a secondary example, is that secondary teachers and academic counselors continually work in order to prepare their students for the adult world ahead of them. This includes writing letters of recommendations for students who ask them to, and this work is most frequently done outside of their own contractual hours. But they do it, and that's because it's the right thing to do. Educators know that a part of their job is not only having students be successful within the hours of their employment, but someday they also need to be successful out there in the real world. Another example is that inclusion and collaboration teachers take on even more responsibilities in order to meet the diverse needs of the students in their classrooms. They meet with case managers in order to review pacing guides, accommodation lists, and behavior plans so that an even deeper level of daily differentiation can occur. They plan specific activities that allow students to independently engage with meaningful tasks so that they are able to perform classroom observations and data collections in preparation for the documentation necessary at additional meetings they must attend. They go to trainings which require them to prepare substitute plans beforehand and do additional follow-up afterwards. And as stated at the last board meeting, this work is no longer being shared equally among our educators, but rather assigned to mostly one in a grade level or department without any guardrails in place to support them. The amount of work that teachers do outside of their contractual hours is why you've heard me talk about the frustration around Keenan Safe School mandated trainings at prior board meetings. This year, these kind of trainings amounted to approximately 6 hours, and the only options we had were to complete them during our preparation periods, which Carol so eloquently explained are already jam-packed, or doing so outside of our contractual hours. Either way, this led to more responsibilities needing to be addressed unpaid and during personal time. We look forward to discussing more on Article 12 during our negotiation sessions. On the topic of negotiations, I would like to extend a huge thanks to Diana Tavares for finding and coordinating a negotiations facilitator from the Public Employment Relations Board State Mediation and Conciliation Service.
Oh my God.
I got through it. He already provided our team a wonderful day of interest-based bargaining training and will be continuing to work with us throughout this negotiation season. I am looking forward to this. On another note, the District Budget Committee met on January 27th and January 30th. On behalf of the MHFT budget team, I would like to extend a thank you to Kavira Chang and Doris Lopez and their fiscal team for being knowledgeable about this budget and for answering our questions. We had a lot of them. Thank you to the board trustees in attendance as well. I know at the end of the second day, we noticed that scheduling dates in January might not give us a full understanding of the entire budget, as some things are not encumbered yet. Therefore, the people on the committee have requested a third date during April or May, so I'm hopeful that we can reconvene then to continue our deep dive with a fuller picture of this year's budget. I would also like at that point for us to work together to determine a schedule of when it is most conducive to continue this practice in future years. I know that my members and me are looking forward to the upcoming week off. I wish you all a restful week as well, and I look forward to seeing you at the next board meeting in March. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I invite for the Morgan Hill Educational Leaders Association, Mr. Bookser, here in person.
Yes, sir.
It's good to see you three-dimensionally,
Yeah.
sir.
And I wrote it nice tonight, too, John. Looks good. Thank you on behalf of Mahela for the opportunity to report to you tonight. We have submitted our AXA Award nominations for all of the different awards that AXA has offered. So those are in motion. And at the school sites, we've had our Healthy Kids Vision and Hearing for grades 2, 5, and 8. Our high school counselors came out to the middle schools and K-8s to get all the scheduling and master scheduling going on so they can work on their master schedule and staff appropriately. Our PLTs are working hard, continuing to analyze their common formative assessments, looking at essential standards, and making sure that we are responding to what the data tells us about kids. Our principals are signing up for our second round of data chats. So we had iReady 1, I call it that, iReady 2, fall and winter, and now we look at the next areas of focus to help support. And a huge thank you to our ESD team that helps participate as a cognitive thought partner and help us really dig down deeper so we can be purposeful with our efforts at the site. We are currently in LPAC testing right now. So our kids are getting tested for listening, speaking, reading, and writing. After vacation, I know more group testing will occur, but the one-on-ones are going on right now. We had a P3CC meeting, preschool to grade 3, counting Coherence Coalition. Thank you, Julie. And it's a huge thank you to our team who cohort 1 is helping cohort 2 to learn what they went through and their purposeful efforts in learning. And it was beautiful in this room in here just a couple days ago, the teachers teaching each other and the administrators helping each other learning what they had to go through to help get this amazing mathematic opportunity out for more kids and more classrooms. So next meeting is in March 25th, where more sharing will happen. As you've heard, we had our roundtables, our Read Across America is March 2nd, I believe. We have our LCAP survey out to all the kids in grades 5, 12 right now. And we are finally looking forward to the March Madness Attendance Challenge. That is a big one. So we are working hard at the school sites for that. So I'm looking forward to February break and want to thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bookser. Looking at the clock here, I think we'll do the board member reports and then take a short stretch break, if that sounds good. Any board members have a report they'd like to kick us off with? Trustee Andrade, please.
All right, I'll start. The last time we met, our semester hadn't started, and okay, so it has. So first, just to recap, shout out to Sharice White of Sharice's Hair Salon for doing the Dress for Success at Rock the Mock. She always does a great job with that, and the students are always engaged on what not to wear. And I think Dr. Garcia is being hella modest about Carl Cohn, Dr. Carl Cohn. He's the superintendent in the Freedom Riders. Literally, that's him. So in that scene where the English teacher is talking to the superintendent of Long Beach, that's Dr. Carl Cohn. So you're being modest. Okay, so now on to my own personal board report. So Vanessa Ramirez of Sobrato High School and Brandon Alvarez Ramirez of Live Oak High School, phenomenal students. Board President Horner and I were able to work with them on their speeches. What an honor it was to actually be invited to that, by the way. Like,
that was so much fun.
From getting an email say, hey, do you have any experience public speaking? I'm all, do you know who I am? Do you know what I do? So I was totally blown away like the first time we met them. And John and I just looked at each other and was like, mic drop moment. These kids are brilliant. So it was really awesome getting live updates from her speech. She's just getting started. She's on fire. So both of them are amazing public speakers, so shout out to them. I also wanted to let you all know a little something that's happening at the community college level. So there's this thing called Agenic AI, which is your own personal agent. And so what we're noticing is that these agent AIs, they log into the student portal, they log into the classroom, they read the lecture notes, and they actually do all the work for the student. And so we started to notice this last semester. So one of the workarounds that I kind of figured out was, well, it's really easy for the AI agent to post a discussion, but it's very difficult for an AI agent to respond in a video on camera to the discussion. So I have implemented that in my online classes, and it has taken online learning to a whole new level. Students have reported to me that they feel really connected to the online class, having discussion posts in video. So I just wanted to share that with you all, because I don't, eventually if this becomes a thing here at the K-12 level, you heard it here first. Lastly, I was at Sobrato High School for a few hours in the creative writing class, and just talking about the writing process with high school English students, and talking about plagiarism and how, no, it really does go on your transcripts, and you can get kicked out of the school and you can get dropped out of the class. And they're like, really? And I said, yeah, and your parents can't email us because you're an adult. And so it was like this huge eye opener for the students. They were like, what? But I also plugged some services like Writing Center and Tutoring Center and all that stuff. So that was really fun. And lastly, I attended the DLAC meeting a few weeks back, and they presented the FACE plan that we got to know about during the theme study session. And I'm a No Sabo kid, which means that I'm Mexican, but I don't speak Spanish. And so for me to be there, I understand culture and I'm part of the culture, but I felt like, wow, this is what it's like. So I had my translator app, and it was translating the Spanish to English, and I was just nodding along like, okay, I understand what's going on. But just that second step, and it just really made me kind of even more cognizant of how our families participate and show up, and they want to be here, but may not necessarily like that. It's that extra step. So it was like, wow, this is what it's like. And this was just 2 hours, so huge eye opener. And that's it. That's all my report.
Thank you very much. Trustee Altman?
Thank you. I've had a busy last month. I'll start with South County Youth Task Force. And the purpose of this is to better support students in the South County, real high need students, and looking at trends in behaviors across the region, and then how to support the students to hopefully make better choices. And it's all students, but then there are real strategic supports for very high-need students. And so it's a really comprehensive program. And one thing that I always walk out of that meeting with is thinking we got it a little bit better in Morgan Hill, I think, in terms of facilities and supports for our students in the community, because it takes a community, not just a school. And so the task force itself is also working on goals and strategies. I'm looking at just revising the South County Youth Task Force goals. That was one thing. The transition fair that was held at Britain a couple weeks ago, I think. Was that last week? Oh, it seemed like I was gone for a week too. So I was so impressed. There were probably about 14 to 16 different tables there with amazing information. Quite a few families were in attendance with their special needs students, and ranging from, there were 3 community colleges, VTA, Parents Helping Parents, and just a phenomenal amount of information available to the families. You know, the kids grow up and it's like, now what? And so it's really helping to bridge the now what. So I was really impressed by by that event. Since I had been at Britain that day, the next day I just went back to the back to school night, open house, sorry. And when I was at Britain, when I first started as an assistant principal, we were a great consumer of South County Youth Task Force services. The school was in great need for additional support and a culture change. And as one of my favorite staff members said to me, she goes, you know, Nancy, it gets boring here sometimes. And boring at Britain, and what she meant was that things are running so smoothly. For us, it used to be stomping out fires all the time. This was the community liaison. She and I, we were like this, and chasing down students, chasing down parents. And she's like, it's not like it was. And it was so nice to see the students so engaged and activities they were working on. And just hearing from staff, it's knock on wood, you know, sometimes it's boring here. And so that is also a culmination of getting that South County Youth Task Force and added supports in for the students when it was greatly needed. Got to spend quality time at the budget meeting. That was a whole bunch of hours that we went through a lot of information and asked, I think, more questions than information. You know, it was quite a give and take. Thank you, Assistant Superintendent Chang, and your team, that they provided a lot of information and we kept asking more questions. So it was really useful for a lot of us to understand what's going on. And the STEAM fair. Yeah, it was amazing. So much fun that this little bitty kids to like adults shoving kids out of the way because they wanted to do the activities. So it was amazing this year. End of report.
Thank you very much. And you snuck in some camping too. That's amazing. Anyone else? Please, Vice President Northrop Gaddis.
Yes, so I attended the Morgan Hill Education Foundation meeting, and there were a couple new officers elected. Adam Escoto is now the president, and Wendy Sullivan is now the treasurer. And the grant distribution cycle is underway, so that's exciting. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Trustee Gardner.
Thank you. So I was planning on attending the CTE, and I threw my back out Monday morning, so I was really sad I wasn't able to attend that. I was really looking forward to it. I bet it was awesome.
It was amazing.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's going to be an annual thing going for. Okay, good. Okay, great. Thank you for that. And then I also had the privilege of attending the Budget Committee. Thank you, Colvera and your staff. It was very helpful, very informative. I do have a question, though, where I'd like to comment on the January 15th letter from the Santa Clara County Office of Education. That wasn't provided when we asked for that January 27th and January 30th. We were told that it wasn't available yet. And it's dated here January 15th. And it does state in here that the district is, so this is the January one. It says the district is presenting as fiscally solvent in the current and 2 subsequent fiscal years. However, the district is projecting to deficit spend such that over the 3 years included in the multi-year projection report, the unrestricted general fund beginning balance decreases from $42.4 million in the fiscal year 2025-2026 to a projected ending balance of $12.2 million in 2027-2028, representing a projected decrease in the general fund of $30.2 million. Structural deficit spending is not sustainable and may lead to fiscal insolvency if ongoing expenditures are not brought into alignment with projected revenues. In our budget review letter dated September 15th, 2025, we, the county, requested a status update to the fiscal stabilization plan to address the structural deficit spending. The district, MHUSD, has reached out and requested an extension. As noted in the district's first interim board presentation, the district will update the fiscal stabilization plan in February 2026. That's this month. When we met at for the budget committee meeting, no reference to this was made. And that needs to be submitted to SCOE as part of the second interim report. I know that report is due March 17th, 2026. So I know this is a board report. Perhaps we can put it at the end of the meeting for future items, but I would like to know when this is going to be discussed with the board. The first interim, excuse me, and I understand, let me finish, I'm sorry. And I understand that this is a positive certification of the Morgan Hill Unified School District based on us saying we're going to do these things, but them continuing to remind us, if you don't do these things, you are going to be in trouble.
Dr. Garcia, you'd like to respond, looks like?
Whenever the school district presents budget reports that the board approves, typically it's done in June at budget adoption, and then again during first interim, which happens in December, and then again for second interim, that happens in March. We submit the budget to the county. The county reviews the letter. Reviews our budget and then issues a letter. When the county submits those letters to us, I forward those letters on to the full board. The current letter that you're referencing in January had a misstatement, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. The misstatement was that the district asked for an extension. That was inaccurate. And so that letter was not final yet. As today, actually, a couple of hours ago, county superintendent submitted a follow-up letter clarifying that that was a misstatement. So we never asked for an extension. We did provide to the county an estimate of the $2 million that we will be reducing. That was shared with you all in a separate setting, and we share that same list with the county. We will be working with our collective bargaining partners, and we will be sharing the details of what's in that with respect to the $2 million. And so the county is aware of how we are reducing our budget. As is customary, when I typically send my board updates, I typically hyperlink those letters from the county in my update. And so tomorrow when you get my update, you'll be getting the January 15th letter, in addition to the addendum, the additional letter that the county superintendent just submitted a couple of hours ago that clarifies that one statement that we asked for an extension. It was always the plan to provide an updated fiscal stabilization plan for second interim, which we are on target to complete.
That's good to hear. I would like to personally ask if when you put them, I think that warrants being a separate, standalone, unique email that gets sent to us, so it's, very much identifiable. If you're going to continue to put it in your updates, if you could please, in the body of the email, give us a heads up. Hey, in this update, you're going to find the letter from the county.
I will do both this time.
Okay, very good. Does that conclude your report?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Others? I see you reaching for your mouse there. Trustee Marquez, did you have something you wanted to add? Okay. Anyone here? Doesn't have to be. I'm just checking. I don't want to miss
I know.
anybody.
I was debating.
Oh,
I just
okay.
want to echo, I mean, I was at the budget meeting too, so I just echo that, I just think Superintendent, I want us to call him just Colvera, sorry. Because we got to know each other so well during the budget, right? Asking all these questions. But anyway, just thank you and your team for being open, collaborative, and appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Okay, I promise I won't go through all of these things. I made my notes of what I've been up to board-related in the last month. An extra shout out with Trustee Andrade. It was just so much fun to tag team coaching a couple of our students on their speech. That was just a really enjoyable thing to do. The County Association, I'll hit on some of those items. As our County School Board Association, our Success Committee continues to meet and see what's next around communicating and coordinating between school districts and counties and others regarding our unhoused students or housing insecure students, or your term, whatever term of art, McKinney-Vento, for those of us that know what that means. Just an ongoing area of great need. And I know our staff that's here, they see that need every day, but it's important for electeds and others to be more conscious of what that means and what's going on. Also, the Capital Advisors Budget Workshop that was held at the County Office of Education, always, I think I had the report forwarded to everybody so you could see the content, but they just do an excellent job. And the big thing going on at the state right now is under Proposition 98, a certain percentage of the state's funds are supposed to go to school districts, ADA-funded districts like ourselves. And, the governor's current proposal says, well, there's going to be a lot of money coming in, but 5.6 billion of it that Prop 98 says should go to schools. I'm worried it won't be there, so it's not going to go to schools, but we're going to spend it somewhere else. So that's a really hot political topic. And, be interesting in March. I know we'll have a second interim and an update. It'll be really interesting to see, if the state actually did what our constitutional amendment requires, what that revenue picture would be. So that's a preview of coming attractions.
We've done the math, and if the governor were to return that money, which statutorily belongs to us, that's $7 million of ongoing money.
Yeah. So anyhow, on the political advocacy around this, around the skyrocketing special education funding issue, our young people need what they need, but we don't have unlimited funds to pay the unlimited needs. It's just an ongoing massive issue. And on the advocacy and lobbying part, that mostly happens in Sacramento and DC. I'll be going with CSBA back on coast to coast to DC again. It's just something we have to keep hammering on the people that decide how much money we don't have to give everybody that quite justly is saying we need more for what we're doing. I agree, but so that's just an ongoing effort to go do everything we can to get those funds. Also, with the County Association, we had 55 people at a first ever professional development for trustees leading in challenging times. It was not recorded. There were notes taken because the whole idea was to be confidential and ask whatever questions you wanted to ask. We had 4 retired superintendents, trustees, and superintendents, including Dr. Garcia from all around the area. A very rich conversation. One of the takeaways from the I'll call them the old timers, people that did it forever, is like, when was there not a challenging time? It's like, I remember when Prop 13 passed, right? So I remember when anything other than English in school was outlawed. And I mean, there have been all kinds of dramas and traumas that continue to happen through our system. So I don't know if that was good news or bad news, but it was interesting perspective. We did some site visits, always amazing. I mean, I love going into kindergarten and TK just to get the energy. I don't know how the teachers that do that all day, how they keep up with that energy. I love going in for 20 minutes, like, well, that was great, and then we leave. But some of you do it all day long. But see, you're still smiling. It must work. Different thing. I went to local group put on a special conversation at the community center featuring Mother Agapia. She's a Christian nun from Palestine, and she was there to share from the perspective of Christians in Palestine, mostly in the West Bank, what the reality has been in recent decades and recent years. And I'll just say, the reality of the people that are living on the ground, very difficult and heartbreaking. And it saddens me that the various kinds of religious and political tensions keep playing out in bloodshed rather than commonality. So it was a hard thing to experience and listen to, but it's important to be aware of. So I'm glad I was there, and I went home crying. So I'm not sure what to make of that. On the brighter side, Dr. Garcia mentioned our county investment in a Children's Advocacy Resource Center here. Just to highlight that again, I mean, these are kids that have been through the worst kind of trauma, and having one place where all the various kinds of legal, medical, and mental health professionals, are in one facility working in a coordinated way. One of the things they emphasized was not re-traumatizing a child. So certain information, if there's going to be a criminal prosecution, things have to be done, things have to be interviewed, but they do that in a way that let's make sure there are people that are very sensitive to these kids and can just ask these questions and record their answers once. Not say, now, can you tell me again? Yeah. So, and I'm excited to see that resource. I'm sad that it's needed, but excited that resource is coming to our area. Another brief thing, this morning, the Chamber had its Economic Development Committee monthly meeting on Zoom. The city presented their tools and budget perspective as they're going through, what are we going to do? They have they're about half the size economically of the school district, half the employees. They have a $4 to $5 million structural deficit. 70% of the money is spent on police and fire, much like, different but the same as us. And, their economic development director shared, unfortunately, there's no way to do enough in economic development to close that gap. He said, we've looked at what if we've put stores and industry in every empty parcel? They've done the math, how much of it can be addressed just with more activity, and that can help, but it's not the whole thing. So they're going, they also, have strong reserves now, but are going through the process of, okay, what do we do? Because these aren't going to last forever. So very different and very similar to what we find ourselves facing. The CTE tour was amazing. Won't report on that again, but the people that were there said, wow, had no idea. One of my friends, Craig Kennedy, I've been in Kiwanis with forever. He said, John, you've been in my ear forever about how much we're doing. He said, but it's way more than I imagined. So that over 80% of our students are taking CTE courses. So that, not the old, okay, and when I was in school, it's like they didn't want to let me take shop because I did too well in my regular classes, and I insisted, so that's another whole story. But so now it's not either or, and it's really important that it not be either or. And then I will conclude with February 25th. I'll be going with other people from the county up to the state for a committee meeting on the report on reports. So CSBA and a bunch of us have just been pushing. Every time the legislature says, here's some money for something, we want accountability, so fill out a report. So then people burn thousands and thousands of hours across the state checking boxes and filling out reports. I've yet to find the person that reads them all. Because you have thousands of people doing thousands of hours of work, and I don't know where it all goes. So, who knows how long it will take, but that is another thing that those of us that spend a lot of time on advocacy are working on. I'll stop. Anything else? Yeah, well, as I say, luckily I don't have to have a day job to pay my bills, but I sure keep plenty busy. Okay, so with that said, the next item is the calendar. The calendar is published. Please look at it. We will come back after, let's say it's 7:58, let's say at 8 o'clock to resume the meeting. We'll take a short break, stretch, do what you need to do, and we'll see you all in 8 minutes. Thank you.
Sorry, John.
All right, at 8:05, I'll call us back to order. Everybody's having so much fun visiting and chatting. The sooner we finish the formal agenda, then you can all visit and chat till the break of dawn, but you might have to do it in the parking lot because they'll kick us out. All right, we're now on Section J, consent items. I didn't see ahead of the meeting any requests to move anything from consent. Do we have some now?
I was going to motion that we approve the consent items.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Andrade. A motion to approve the consent calendar. Do we have a second?
A second. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. My back's still. If I wanted to pull 2G, do I need to pull that now?
Yes.
Okay, let's please do that.
So I guess the motion maker, will you accept a friendly amendment to, we have to allow you to pull it. So what do you want to pull?
Please, the 2G.
2G.
Approved school site safety plan.
2G, the school site safety plans? All right.
Yeah.
So can we amend your motion, Trustee Andrade, to be everything other than the school site safety plans?
No. Yeah.
No?
No, I mean, what are you asking me? I'm sorry. I'm like reading, I'm reading I'm like 2G, I'm trying to.
All right, yeah, sorry, I'm trying to go too fast.
Yes, I'll amend the motion, yes.
Trying to go too fast, I
Yeah,
want to get
sorry.
home. So
Yes,
we have
I'll
a
amend the
request to remove item 2G, the school site safety plans.
I'll amend my motion, yes.
Yeah, so we have a motion to approve everything else from Trustee Andrade. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Altman. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? So that passes unanimously. Trustee Gardner, you have a question regarding the school site safety plans?
Yeah.
Whoa! It's not safe to drop a microphone on your toe, I'm sure. If that's the question, we can answer it.
Little cradle here. Do I just pop it back in? There you go. Okay. Huh? No, it's come right back in. Push it in your head. Yeah. There you go. I won't hit you in the head, I promise. Yeah, I was looking through these, and you have brought up SB 98, and I do have concerns about that having passed and the political ramifications of it. I noticed well, at least the ones I looked at, the Central High School, under the rest of them had it written differently. Central High School, I'm scrolling, had, under Senate Bill 98, they said internal notification procedures if ICE comes on site, and then the link, which I couldn't get into the central one. The rest of them read differently. They read.
So your question specifically regarding under the
Yeah,
SB
I
848 portion,
yeah.
why Central is different than the other ones?
Yeah, well, no, that's part of it, but I did call Congressman Kiley's office asking about if there's going to be pushback on SB 98 and if there might be suit or countersuit. I haven't heard back from him yet, but their office did tell me that it's the CSBA who's suing the state to try and get this implemented. And so I'm just very uncomfortable. Again, to me, public education should be nonpartisan, and I do not like the fact that we're incorporating politics into what we're doing. So I personally don't want to vote for this. So
Yeah, I understand your point. I mean, as I understand that particular point, SB 848 passed, it wasn't a lawsuit, it's.
no, 98.
Okay, 98, sorry, yeah, 848 is the one below it. SB 98, passed and is California law, and part of that law requires us to incorporate this language into our school site safety plans. So, if as the federal government and the state argue with each other, if there's some Supreme Court decision that changes something later, that will change something later. But I mean, at this point, and you can vote against it, that's fine. I'll be voting for it. We have to follow the law of California Education Code, which is what we're doing.
And I understand that, but I personally don't. This is not something that it reflects my values, so I'm voting no.
That's part of your right as an elected official to vote against
Exactly.
anything you want to vote against too.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that? No, I'm sorry. I mean, one thing, you don't have to, but, please send your things ahead of time so we can be well prepared. But if not, in this case, we've approved that item and that opportunity has moved on. I'm sorry, we can't reopen
Okay,
something.
I'll just send my questions.
Yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the pulled item.
We approve the pool item.
You mean you
so-
second it?
Right, she seconded it.
Oh, never mind.
She
Go
made
ahead.
the motion.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, yeah, so trustee Andrade has the first, I'll take the second. We know trustee Gardner is a nay. Are all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays besides trustee Gardner? I'm getting confused. Okay, so 6 yes, 1 no on that. Very good. We'll now move on to K1, Local Control and Accountability Plan. We have one request for public comment. Just the one? No. Oh, you're pulling your request, Mr. Benavides? Okay. All right, thank you very much. Then we will go to Assistant Superintendent Jimenez and team to present the item.
Good evening, trustees. Could you go to the first slide? All right. If you don't mind hitting the next slide, that's great. So under Senate Bill 114, California added a requirement that the LEAs, local educational agencies, present a report to the annual update of the Local Control Accountability Plan, lovingly called LCAP, and the budget overview for parents, also lovingly known as the BOP, on or before February 28th, which is what we're doing here tonight. It has to make sure that we give the report that includes all available mid-year outcome data, which you will see in the report in the matrix, and all available mid-year expenditure date items and implementation data on all actions identified in the current LCAP. I do want to put a little provisor that the all available mid-year expenditures are as of December 31st. So please keep that in mind as we look at it. If you go to the next page, please. Thank you. So tonight's presentation is going to be done by the ESD team, who I'm very proud and just very grateful to work with such an amazing group of people that are here every day supporting our wonderful staff. I can't speak more highly of them. Because as one of the items that you'll see attached to your agenda item is the actual mid-year LCAP report, it is really lengthy, right? And so what we're going to give you tonight is a sampling of each of the goals and some of the metrics that are in that report and some of the actions. But on your agenda is the full report so that you could read that at your leisure, including the budget overview for parents. So without further ado, we'll go to the next slide and we'll turn it over to Assistant Superintendent Cheng.
Thank you, Dr. Jimenez. This slides provide a snapshot of the projected revenue for the general fund. I want to highlight two areas or two components on here. The first one is the LCFF funds. We're projected to receive about $97 million for the current year, of which 7.6 are supplemental dollars. These are dollars that are generated by our unduplicated count, which are free and reduced numbers, English learners, and varsity youth. So we have about 44% of PP right now. That's generated about 7.6. So those dollars are required to be captured and reported in the LCAP to provide increased and improved service for those students who generate those dollars.
So what you'll see on the actual LCAP document that's 300 plus pages long, when you look at the metrics, you'll see a couple different answers. You'll see that the outcome is unknown just because at this point in the school year, we have not reached the point at which we've collected that data. That could be the LCAP survey that is currently in progress. So we don't have outcome data for that. In some cases, in some instances, you'll see the metric data is reported because we've already received that data. It could be because it's for the class of 2025, or maybe data that was collected earlier this school year. And then we also have metrics that are currently in progress. For example, our iReady diagnostic data, we just closed diagnostic 2, but we report out diagnostic 3. So that diagnostic 3 data will be available when we come back to the board in June with an updated LCAP.
Okay, so for those of you who were with us last year there were 4 buckets of implementation, and because this is our second year of a 3-year LCAP, the state has added another bucket, so we have 5. So what you'll see on the mid-year LCAP report is that under the actions, we have overall goals and then focus goals. You will see that the actions will say it's not implemented, and there's going to be some language about why it's not implemented at the moment. Ongoing implementation, which is, yes, we started and we're continuing to do that work. It's planned, which means that there is going to be language there about some of it will say like plan for the spring or plan for the summer. Partially implemented, which speaks to where we are in the process of implementing an action, or fully implemented. And normally this is something that you will see when a program is fully put in place or the action requires staffing, for example, right? So we will say it's fully implemented because we hired the additional staff. Next slide, please. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Julia Aguirre Jacinto.
Good evening. I'm here to talk with you a little bit about Goal 1, which centers around our academics. Next slide, please. So as you're familiar, we have 5 focus goals underneath our overarching Goal 1, and they are the different focus areas for the targeted academic support across each of the grade spans, as well as English learners and diverse student learners. Next slide, please. Here's a sampling of some of our metrics. You'll notice that we have our 23-24 baseline, the desired outcome for the end of the 26-27 LCAP plan, and then the mid-year update for this school year in the 25-26 column. And then, as Dr. Jimenez mentioned, the status of where we are with those metrics. On this slide, you see the high school graduation rates, the CTE pathway completers, and enrollment in CTE, AP, and dual enrollment courses. Next slide, please. Continuation of our metrics with that same information across the top. This includes students taking AP exams, the number of long-term English learners, and students with disabilities who are enrolled in CTE, AP, and dual enrollment courses. Next slide, please. This is a sampling of the actions under some of our goals. Both actions on this slide are under Goal 1.0, which is the overarching academic goal. And these programs are ones that span the TK-12 system. The first one is our dual language immersion program. So as we heard from San Martin Gwen earlier this evening, we are working to support both San Martin Gwen and PA Walsh in additional professional development through CABE. And then 1.0b speaks to our math alignment, and as Principal Bookser shared, we are doing the P3 work with our preschool through, or technically TK through 3rd grade classrooms. And then we are also working with the Silicon Valley Mathematics Initiative to provide ongoing professional support and development for the remaining TK3 teachers who are not participating in P3, as well as our 4th through 12th grade math teachers. Next slide, please. These actions here you can see are 1.2, which is our middle school goal, 1.3 our high school goal, and 1.4 is supporting our English learners. And the selection of actions speak to AVID in middle school and high school, and then constructing meaning. We were able to provide professional development for elementary and secondary constructing meaning to our English learner facilitators and principals to start looking at what it will look like to embed those supports for our English learners moving forward. Next slide, please. And I will turn it over Goal 2 to Ms. Sapian.
I wish I was that tall. Good evening, everyone. So I am here to talk about LCAP goal number 2. As you know, this is all about family and community engagement. Our goal is really long, and I am going to take a moment to read it because I feel like it has some really important words in it. And I like us to really sink into the words so that we can really grasp what we mean by family and community engagement. Promote family and community engagement and participation in the education process for all students. Foster a culture of inclusive family and community partnership that inspires all school community members to actively participate in and support student success, thereby creating a cohesive and supportive educational environment conducive to academic achievement, social emotional growth, and lifelong learning. I think my favorite part of that, or one of my favorite parts, is the educational environment that we are creating, and it's really the whole community. It's our schools, our families, and our whole school community, all the partners in there that are creating this really amazing educational environment for our students. Next slide. So one of our metrics is our community liaison support. We've been really working hard in trying to make sure that our families at our schools know who their community liaisons are. And so that's one of our surveys that we take. Do you know who your community liaison is? And so we're happy to report that we're little by little making progress in that and through some really deliberate efforts, increasing the knowledge of our liaisons, and then also increasing the capacity and expertise of our liaisons, and also providing professional development. So we can also see that we've made some good progress, that they've almost 70% of our liaisons have participated in at least 3 PD activities this year, and many have participated in several more. Next slide. And then, of course, one of our main functions as a family and community engagement department is to provide our families with opportunities for getting more information, for learning about our school system, and how they can access all of the things that our schools offer. So we've had various workshops, family education, including Spanish as a second language. We're about to start a program for young mothers, kind of like a support group. We've got our promotoras from SC Hills who've provided loteria nights and face painting and piñata making. We've offered data confirmation for our families that struggle with our enrollment process, Zumba classes. We had a great successful round with Pique, and then our literacy department, the TOSAs, are also using our Face Center to provide several professional development opportunities for our teachers.
I wore my tall shoes. I'm Jessie Swift. I oversee student services. I'm lucky enough that I don't have to explain all the nuances of it because I got the last goal. So with student services, we're really looking to the heart of students and enhancing, the whole child with the work that we're doing. So next slide. With 3.1, it's really the 3.1 talks about helping support PBIS, climate and culture, really looking into our sites about how are they creating an environment for students to feel safe and wanting and belonging on our school campuses. Next slide. So some of the metrics and the things that we pulled from this, one of them is our care staff. We talk a lot about our students that are experiencing homelessness and the support that they need. A lot of the times this is the roughest time in their life, and so having a consistent adult and somebody that they know they can go to that cares about them is sometimes what gets them through the day and sometimes through the year. So our care team prides themselves on their home visits and creating that relationship with families, and so a lot of the time that family will stay with a care person or they will have a warm handoff to the next care person, and so we know a whole trajectory of a family, not just that student as they go through our system. So it's a really nice way to make sure that we stay in tune with what's happening with the student as they go through our system. In addition, we do a lot of resource fairs. We have 2 SLS coordinators that help support and provide outreach to our families. So it's really about meeting our students where they are and our families where they are. A lot of times they don't want to come to us, so we go to them. And so we go out into our community and we do a lot of different events, whether it be at Magical Bridge or we do the fairs at the community center, or more recently, my plug for late night gym at the CRC, 4:30 to 8:30 on Saturdays. We do a lot of those different things. So we also help provide students with a safe campus. So we support our school resource officer, and he also goes to a lot of our events and is on campus. And, middle school and high school kids still love stickers. So, he's out there handing those out and making sure that our positive relationships go and are spread to our MHPD partners as well. Next slide. Some of the other ones we want to highlight is our partnerships. We could not do this work alone. When I talk about the number of partnerships when we go to these different events, people are just amazed. The number of people that come and stand up in Morgan Hill and are willing to lend their hand in any capacity. I want to just, let's go fast, but I'm going to go fast because I talk fast. Just recently, we were looking at a grant, and it required us to pull from 12 sectors. And different businesses and Rotarians and Civic and City and all these people. And they didn't think we were going to get it done in time because we had to pull so quickly. And I made a couple of calls and everyone came to the table. And so we were able to pull the 12 sectors of different people to come and provide this information and this insight to this grant, just because of the relationships and the buy-in we have from our community. So I'm really proud of those relationships that our community has and that they're willing to step up for our kids. And then the last one we wanted to highlight is our wellness centers. As you know, they are up and running and our kids go to them. And so our visits to our wellness centers, that huge total, right, that 16,000 is a huge number when you think about how many times kids go to visit that space and want that trusting adult there. So our wellness centers are really cooking as usual, and we continue to grow those and what we do in our system and how we support students in their continuum of care with mental health. So a big shout out to those wellness counselors. And then one of the metrics that we also look at is our PBIS. So every year, our goals and our sites, we try and move up a band. So whether it's gold, silver to gold, gold to platinum, so on and so forth. And so every year we've been successful. All of our sites have been able to grow and improve in their PBIS in climate and culture. Another goal for this year was really looking at our climate and culture teams and developing a sort of tier 2 to help with those students that need a higher level of care. And so we've been seeing that shift in our students and our sites. And if you go on some of our campuses, they feel very different than they did 6, 7, 8 years ago. And whether it's through our partnerships, whether through our wellness center, the climate and culture teams coming together, all of that work leads into how our students are feeling on our campuses. So that's our climate and culture. Next slide, please. Again, some of our funding when it comes to our care program, our team and our staff that go out and do those events and go to sites and or at the sites and go to students' homes and meet kids where they are. And then looking at our mental health therapists. We are a district to watch. I have people calling us all the time, asking us how we do the work we do. They come and visit our wellness centers. They come and talk to us about how we build out our MTSS systems. How do we create environments for our students to feel that they can come and ask for mental health support. And so it's really important for our schools and our community to know that mental health is a big deal and that we have the space and the staff to be able to support them. I don't think I have the thank you slide. Thank you.
That's my slide. So with that, we close the little snapshot, right, on the oral report on such a great amount of work. Then we really want to acknowledge the hard work of this team, right? Colvera, Doris, Alice, everybody from Alicia from our business service and everybody who contributed, because to President Horner's, it does take, a huge amount of hours to put this report together, to collect the data and have the conversations. But it does give us, on the plus side, right, a really nice mid-year check-in, right, to see where we are with our goals. And so for that, we thank you for your attention to tonight's report.
Thank you. Just so that one of the messages to Sacramento is, we already do all this in the LCAP. What are those 98 other reports all about? so yeah, thank you. Just following up. Yeah, so thank you. I'll make a brief comment and then go to my colleagues here on the culture, having continued to visit campuses as regularly as possible since before I was doing this work. I mean, the improvement in recent years is really noticeable. I start with just kind of like walk on, don't say as little as possible. I know that's hard to believe. Just kind of look around. What's the body language? What's the facial language of the students, the adults? And I mean, this year it's the best I've ever seen. We can always get better, and I know we all know that. But I just want to thank everybody for all that intentional work, and also the students and the families and the guardians, not gardeners. Wow, I must be getting tired early tonight. But gardeners too. But anyhow, just thank you for that. And this is not an action item, but time for questions and comments. Trustee Altman? You all right? You want some water? Oh, you got some water?
So she doesn't throw stuff at me again. Thank you. This is like, I love the length of your presentation and the contents. It was perfect. That part was great. It looks like things are really heading in the correct direction. I'm looking at LCAP Goal 1. And one question I do have is, as we keep coming up with different pathways to graduations, what's it looking like for the A to G? It's not broken out separately. It's included with pathway completers also, and going up. But I'm just wondering if you have a feel about what % of our students graduate with the A through G diploma and trends.
57%. And that data is probably, I was going to say, that's where we're going right now, but you can see last year's data on the full LCAP report. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, which is above average for state.
I recall being at 50% for a long time as far as A to G completion. We want to get to 100. So you say we're at 67 last year, or that's what you're guessing for this year?
No, it's for this year. We were thinking about it's going to be about 57%.
57. Okay, well, progress is progress. Thank
It
you.
is.
Other questions or comments?
Just a brief comment. Thank you so much for the work that you do. Especially the community liaisons, they know everybody and everything. And I'm always amazed, when you ask a question like, "Hey, do you have a family?" Yep, I know a family who could benefit from that. And so they really do are connected to the community. And I just looked through all of this and knowing what's going on at the Faith Center and the PK and university and all that. It's just amazing work that you all have done engaging our families and also our community and tapping into those resources with Rotary and Kiwanis and everybody else.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome. I just want to add, I really appreciate the work of Director Sapien, who meets with our community liaisons and provides, in addition to the school principal and the sites where our community liaisons are located, but that support and that kind of sense of familia, of growing and getting to know the community. And when you walk to any of our sites, our community liaisons are always in the front office, and to your point, they know everybody and provide that bridge that a lot of our families need that support. So,
Thank you. Trustee Altman.
Thank you. I want to add on to what Trustee Andrade was saying. And when I look at this metric, that everyone might not know who the community liaison is, that 47.7%. What you should be looking at is what % of the parents who need them do they know? And I'm guessing that's way closer to 100%.
Absolutely.
That they're such an amazing resource, and their efficiency is way better than this number shows.
Thank you. Other questions or comments? Trustee Marquez? Clerk Marquez, pardon me.
I just want to thank and commend Jessie on her slides, the LCAP Goal 3. The number of home visits by care staff, the ones that are unhoused, how do you find those families to help them? If they're unhoused, where do you find these families to help them?
We have four-wheel drive. No, I'm just kidding. Unhoused in schools is a little bit different because it can also mean students that are doubled up. It could mean students that are truly unhoused. They could be living in safe parking too. So we have a lot of families that live in our safe parking. It could also mean in trailers that don't have permanent fixtures. So they could be living in some of our mobile home parks that just don't have fixtures. But it also could mean that they don't have a house that's adequately a home for somebody. And so we often sometimes find ourselves going and finding houses behind other houses in fields that shouldn't be a home. And so in those cases, we try and provide them as many supports as we can, and often try and connect them to a new housing development or get them housing vouchers, or, whatever they need. Often families too also live in that space because it's a multi-generational space for them. And so we just provide what they need. And so if it's clothing, or if it's food, or if it's rental assistance, we connect them to the resources that they need to be connected to. With safe parking, for example, one of the things that's really hard for our families is you have to be out by 6 a.m. And so a lot of our families, school doesn't open up in time and people have to go to work. And so that gap between 6 and 8 or 6 and 9 sometimes is hard. So how do we connect them to before and after school programs for their students? How do we make sure that those kids have somewhere to go during that time? And so it's things like that we're just trying to make sure that there's safe spaces for them to be in during the unstructured time of the day. So yeah, we find and we go and we do home visits, and sometimes they'll give us addresses that's not a real address, and then we go with their kid when they go home. And we just give them what they need, and sometimes it's usually resources that we find and help them, and that's usually how we are able to reach and become contact. And it's the relationship, right? Mm-hmm. Usually they have a relationship with one of the care team that we find these things out, and then try and get them whatever assistance they need.
Well, thank you to you and your team. It's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? I'll add one more brief comment of thanks. One of you mentioned, I think it was Director Swift, that people are always calling, how do you do that? How do you do that? I can say I have that through the county association, gotten to know trustees in a lot of areas. I'm jealous of their funding, just to put it bluntly. We had at our CTE event one of our trustees from Los Gatos Union High School District, a very well-funded district, and she was like, how do you do so much with so little? I said, well, give me some of your money and we'll show you what we could really do. Or I should have said, you should see how many hours our teachers are working after their school day. But it's all part of it. It really is. Obviously we want more resources, but the way this community, school community and broader community leans in really to doing everything we can for our students, children, and families to the degree we can is. It's heartwarming, and it's great to be an example, and I still want more money. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, was an inform. Oh, I'm sorry, Trustee Gardner. Thank you. Sorry. No worries. You okay? Yeah. Okay, good.
Stop it.
Watch that mic, it bites.
I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate it. And I know this is silly, but thank you as well for most of all the acronyms, almost everywhere, you actually put the words behind it. I noticed that. So thank you for that as well.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Thank you.
Okay. We will now move to, so that was an information item. Thank you for the information. Item 2 in this section, the 24-25 Annual Measure G Financial Report Audit. We'll start, Assistant Superintendent Chang will introduce the item. We'll have the audit, and then I see our Citizens Oversight Committee chair is here after the audit. If you want to, it's optional. If you want to say a few words about the work of the committee. Yeah, I know. I got you. This item is related to your work that you do as a volunteer for us. So after we do the audit report, we'll invite you up if you want to add some color commentary. Thank you. Please.
Thank you, President Horner. I want to invite and introduce Mr. Ahmad Garabi with A.D. Bailey. He's going to be presenting the Measure G audit report for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you. Good evening. This is the performance audit and the financial audit of Measure G, the 2012 Measure G. It is approaching its end of life, it looks like it. The scope of the audit is to ensure that there's basically two things that we're auditing. That is ensuring that the amounts, the funds related to Measure G are segregated from the district's funds, which is what we call a financial audit. And then the second component to that is ensuring that the expenses that were charged or the amounts that were charged or funded by that measure are in compliance with the ballot language. So it's two segments. according to the ed code, they call one is a financial and the other one is called performance audit, which is basically a compliance audit. And what we do is we confirm the amounts that are reported. There's really not much other than cash going on over there. We do confirm the interest that comes through from the funds related to that measure, and we look at your expenses and we confirm that these expenses were actually expended. And then the second component to that audit is to ensure that the amounts related to Measure G are expended in accordance with what the voters had voted on. And that's what the scope of the audit. We typically test 80–90% of the expenses that were charged to that program. We sit with your project managers and we ask them questions. Did you go out for bid? Did you have proper internal controls over contracting and the expenses, and ensuring that there is a review process there with respect to the amounts that were charged to Measure G. And we issue two types of opinions. One is related to the financial statements of Measure G, whether they are fairly stated or not. And I'm pleased to let you know that we issued a clean opinion on the finances of Measure G, and then we also issued a clean opinion on the compliance with the ballot language. And with that, I'll be more than happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. This is my favorite kind of report. You scroll down to the findings pages and nothing to report. So, any questions or comments? Seeing none, do we have a motion to accept this report? Thank you, Trustee Munson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Huh?
Marquez.
Thank you, Clerk Marquez. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Hearing none, that passes. Now I'll invite Kathy Chavez-Napoli up, also on Measure G, to just give us an update from the point of view of the chair of the Citizens Oversight Committee. And you can have more than 3 minutes, but if you don't take them, that's okay too.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't looking at it as an end of life kind of thing. I was looking at it as we're reaching the end of the available money to spend. And so when we're looking at about $16 million for this year, I probably won't come and see you next year because it will all be gone. But I think I want to make sure to say thank you to all of the staff, because the Citizens Oversight Committee really doesn't make the decisions. You decide as a board where it gets spent, you decide how it gets spent, and the Citizens Oversight Committee, the 7 members kind of look at it and review it, and we are very fortunate that we have volunteers willing to do that. But it's really the staff that makes sure that everything is done properly, that we are in compliance, and that all the projects are being built. So I don't have to tell you, because I know you see it walking around visiting all the campuses, how beautiful our campuses are at Nordstrom, at Paradise, at Britain, and even San Martin, Gwen, and Jackson. But I always just want to remind you, we still have so much need. And the one that I always focus on is PA Walsh. We still have those temporary portables that have been there for 40 years. And temporary and 40 years they don't go together. That language does not go together. You can ask any elementary school student, or you can ask an adult. Those are words that we shouldn't be having to speak. And as a person who visits those portables all the time every year when I visit the 3rd grades, it is a need that is desperately, desperately needed for that school. Because those students deserve to have the best, just like Nordstrom has, just like Britain has. They deserve it. And we need to do our best to give them equal equity, get them to be proud of their school, and they need that help. So in that light, kind of a little side issue is, maybe some of you have seen that they have a little garden in the back. And what we've been able to do is bring resources. I've written 2 grants. And we have Kiwanis has K-Kids there. We just established that. So we have clubs at the elementary, at the middle, and at the high schools. And so we are going to be revitalizing that garden. And I already have community members, as we have so many generous community members, a landscape company that's going to provide the soil, Gavilan has a native garden, and our biology teacher, Ray Morales, is going to donate some of the native plants. But most importantly, the students are picking what they want to grow in those beds. And they are picking things like cilantro, cucumbers, carrots, onions, and especially they want watermelons. So the community can't do it alone, so I want to again say thank you to the staff. If we didn't have that staff supporting us, working so hard at the wellness centers, at every site, we work as a partnership, a team, whether it's the high schools, whether it's the elementary schools, and even Gavilan. We work in partnership to give our students what they deserve. We're not asking for anything that they don't deserve. They all deserve absolutely the best. So I'm hoping that all of you will always, if we come up with a, I know you can't say it, but I can say this as a citizen, if we work really hard to have a bond measure so that we can meet those needs that those students have and that they desperately deserve. Thank you so much, and it's really been an honor to be a chair of this committee to see what has been done for our students.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your work and service, and I'll just say, if there is another bond, which is always probably the biggest if of my life, but the work of that committee will continue, so don't plan your retirement prematurely. Don't plan your retirement from that committee. All right. Thank you very much. We're now on to any requests for future agenda items.
Agenda items or?
I'm sorry, was there anything else on Measure G?
No, I wanted to.
We're on future agenda items,
Yeah.
unless I skipped seeing somebody wanting to. Okay.
No. I
Please.
wanted to ask if we could possibly look into the cost of what Metro Ed would be for Central High School students. Just having toured that facility with you, President Horner, it reminds me of what I always say is, I never met a student who didn't like to learn, but I have met many students who didn't like school. And when you are on the Metro Ed campus, it's pretty hard to want to cut school and miss school, right? You want to show up and you want to attend school. And so I just wanted to know if maybe we could look into what the interest would be for students at Central and what that would cost.
Is that something you want to forerun, or is that a small enough task we don't need to do that?
I think knowing that the principal of Central High School is here, I can work with Principal Alvarez. We do have the actual cost so we can gauge interest. I do know, if I can just put in a plug for Principal Alvarez, she has been working with Rebecca's Children's Services and has been providing culinary classes after school for the students. And they were incredibly well attended beyond the available spots. And so we know that there's a lot of interest on other career and technical ed pathways. So I'll work with Crystal on that.
Okay, so we'll look forward to future reports on this topic. Thank you. Others? Trustee Munson?
Yes, thank you. I noted, I wasn't able to attend this policy committee, but I'm really tired.
I understand.
Extremely, like you said about the kinders, not only that, my granddaughter's been sick, so I've been up all night. But anyway, so I was not able to attend the policy subcommittee, and on that committee was the interdistrict transfer. So I was wondering if we could how do we get that out to the teachers, that information? Was it changed? Was it not changed? And just so it's clear for everybody.
Yeah, I provided it in one of my updates, a summary of. And so Director Swift has updated the flow chart and has communicated that out, or at least on a one-to-one basis. But she will be sharing out the flow chart widely. The updated flow chart will address about 95% of the concerns. I want to note that no one can displace families who live in the boundary area. And so that was the only hiccup that we could not address, because legally we could not do that. But beyond that, we're able to address about 95% of these. So if I can just provide a summary, all of the students are grandfathered. Children, any student that's here on an Allen bill, which means do not live in Morgan Hill, but work in the boundaries of Morgan Hill Unified, Allen bill, they have all been grandfathered through the highest grade. So if they were accepted at JAM, for example, in first grade, they were able to stay through eighth grade. They are also given intra-district rights, which allows for their siblings to also benefit from that. Schools, though, that are impacted, like Britain at sixth grade, we cannot guarantee admission to that. They will just be considered, they will enter the lottery like an intra would, whereas what we did before, they were at the bottom after the intras, and now they're going to be within the intras. So yeah, so about 95% of the issues have been corrected.
And thank you for expanding on item I2, superintendent report. Thank you for expanding on item I2, superintendent report. It was basically what you just did there. So just since we haven't agendized this item, maybe if there's any additional
Absolutely.
information you and the superintendent can.
No, I just, that was it.
Was that
Thank
good?
you.
Okay.
Yep, that was great.
Just trying to keep us on the right side of the law. I get nervous.
Oh, yeah, no. It was just how, I mean, she didn't have to address it, but she did, so thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Let's say it was we went back to superintendent report there just for a minute.
I get it. Now I
Yeah.
get it. Okay, like I said, I'm tired, so I
am too.
I got you
I am
now.
too. Anything else?
Yes, I asked for just the resolution to not support the lithium battery. Have we gotten any more information on that? Or, I mean, you can tell me later, but I just want to get it out
I can
there.
follow up with you later.
Okay. Oh, and I think that's it.
Is that it? Sorry?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Anyone else? Trustee Gardner?
So I'm not sure how this should be packaged, but under new business, I would like to structure or ask to structure a follow-up meeting with the Budget Committee for that time slot that was mentioned in March or April. So after the second interim, but before, we're reviewing it for voting in June. So the March, April timeline seemed to, at the meeting, everyone seemed to think that would be a nice timeline to get that done.
Is that something staff needs board direction on, or are you already working in that regard? Or?
We are having some internal discussion with our team to determine the schedule right now. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And so then we'll just be emailed or notified, like, yeah.
Yeah, we'll
so-
communicate that to other committee members.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Seeing nobody else raising their hand, I have nothing to add, and we will then at 8:52 adjourn the meeting. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.